Hello, guys. Can you hear me? Okay, good. I want to tell you a little bit about conflict and impact. And before I tell you about conflict and impact, hola, my name is Hermes, and I'm in conflict. This is a picture from myself from, I think, when I was 5. This is our house. I have a family of one brother and 2 amazing parents. So let me tell you a bit about who I am. This is a bit of course, my roots. This is the house of my grandfather. My grandfather has 95 years old, and he was born in this house. I'm coming from a place which is called San Luis Potosí, and this house is around 20 kilometers. This picture was taken 1 year ago. So it's an interesting house. It's still, I would say it has more than 100 years. My grandfather, more than 90 years old. Then my father wasn't born in that house, but my grandfather went to this place, San Luis Potosí, which is this picture. This picture is from San Luis Potosí. So I was born there, 35 years old. It's a semi-desertic place. It's a very beautiful place, but it's very challenging to live there because it's a semi-desertic. Early in the morning might be 5 degrees, and then in the evening you have 30 degrees. So it's those are my beautiful family. You have my brother, my mother, and my father, and I consider them home. They, by the way, came here yesterday, so I'm very happy. I'm gonna tell them about this thing later. They wanted to come, and I said, no, you better see it in YouTube. So I'm gonna tell you about conflict. So I introduce myself like my name is Hermes, and I'm in conflict. But before I tell you about the challenges that I had through life, let me tell you what helped me to go through conflict. This is my father, of course, myself. In one of the Christmas, I had some 3-4 years there. So I learned a lot about helping each other from my father, caring for the whole. That was from my father, very much, of course, from my mother. And here is an example of helping each other. No? The second value that helped me to go through conflict is confidence. Confidence, as you can see here, using your allowance wisely. This is my allowance, mustache, And confidence, of course, my mother was very proud. If I would have known what kind of, sombrero I was wearing, like, mother, please. But of course, it was one of the things that build your confidence and helps you go through the challenges in life. My father was this mother that always tells you, you can do anything. You can do whatever you can do. Whatever you would like to do, you are able to do it. I have a daughter of 1.5-year-old, and my wife is singing almost every day this song. So it's a cool thing because she's also pushing and passing this value through the next generations. And then the last one is about courage. Yeah, this is me. I was always, I had a lot of wounds and stuff because I was always on the field, walking around and doing stuff. This is a picture when I was, before going to a pile of rocks, I was playing in this side of my house, and then this pile of rocks I was sitting there, and a toad, came into my pocket. Then I sit and I squeezed it out, and then I put my hand and I started crying because it was full of blood. And what is this? So those kind of things happened to me. But risks has its price when you do things. And the last one is about awareness. Yes, this is me. So I'm still that thin a little bit. But awareness is one of the most important things that I have learned. When I was part of the Boy Scouts, and I still consider myself a Boy Scout, I knew a lot of things about taking care of the nature, but also about living this world a little bit better. Every time you went to a camping site, you had to clean afterwards because you wanted to keep it for the future campers that will come, and that tells you about awareness. No? So those values help me go and still help me go through conflict. One of the conflicts that I had a long time ago was when I was 18 years old. This is a picture from Monterrey city. I studied in Monterrey. It's 800 kilometers from San Luis Potosí, opposite to Croatia. You travel 800 kilometers and you are still in the country. And here you have, 800 and you pass 4 countries, 3 countries. So I had the first conflict with my parents because I wanted to go there to study. And my parents were like, are you sure? But it's, it's far from here. We're gonna don't see each other. You won't have friends there. You won't have, your family's here. Well, I want to go there, but are you sure? You can get a car, if you stay in this. It's not that my father was or my parents were, trying to buy me, but they were teasing me. They were challenging me. And I said, yes, I want to know there. So the first conflict was with my parents, like trying to convince them that I really want to go. And then my father told me, okay, you will go, only if you get a scholarship, because it was a private university. And I got the scholarship, so I was super happy. But that was the first conflict because you go to at the age of 18, no money, with a scholarship you can barely make it. But it's cool because it's kind of freedom is the unknown of really visiting other places, making new friends. Second challenge was when I started my university, and through the years I did around 6 years there. I had this opportunity to travel because I belong to this student association. A student here, well, it wasn't a student association, a similar one, but the difference will be opposite to e-student. It's that we were traveling a lot and abroad, like IASEC kind of association. So we were visiting up to 6 to 7 countries during my 6 years because every year you raise some money, did some sponsorship, and travel to attend these world congresses. So I didn't know English by that time, but I knew that was, I went to Monterrey at the age of 18, so it was like, okay, let's go travel. But we didn't have any money, and of course, the first time at the age of 19, when I went into a plane, I didn't know that if I had to pay the food on the flight or not. So I was expecting my other friends. So what do you want? A beer. Man, I don't have even for a beer. So he asked for a beer, and I saw that they didn't ask for money. I said, a beer too. So those kind of things that enter in conflict with yourself, but also with other people around. You don't know, when you are traveling, you don't know if they are gonna, you don't know the reactions, you don't know the language. But nevertheless, you are there, challenging yourself. Another example is when I graduated, I got the job. After I got the job, I quit it because I got a scholarship in the Netherlands. This is a picture of myself at the age of 26 when I arrived to the Netherlands and started my master's degree. And I entered a lot of conflicts because, once again, I quit my job. For the first time, I quit my job, but once again, I was being challenged to do something different. And the job was very awesome. I had my own car. I was going to get a house, but I say that's boring because I didn't have time for myself. So I was looking for other opportunities. I went to Holland. But then in Holland, Holland, like, wow. Then I entered in internal conflicts because back in that time, my girlfriend, who was a Croatian, we were not able to be together. So you start meeting other people, and it was very challenging. You start this conflict with yourself and also with other people because it's a new space. You are now living in Holland. It's not that you're gonna go back in Mexico in 1 week. It's not an exchange program. It's like you live there. So I did a lot of internal reflection, and it was a lot of conflicting. I raised my awareness there very much because of my master's degree topic, but also because I met, in this university there were 100 people from 100 different nationalities, so it was an awesome thing. But nevertheless, a conflict. And the last one has to do with when I came to Croatia. And that was when I finished the master's degree. My girlfriend went and also managed to go to the same university in Holland to do a master's degree too. So we finished in 2009, and we say, okay, what do we do? Do we go back to Mexico? Do we go to Croatia? And we say, okay, let's go to Croatia. We had a small social project in Murter Island. We still have. But that was our only excuse to go to Croatia. And then we decided, okay, let's go to Croatia. I gave up 2 job offers from Mexico City, and I say, Let's go to the unknown again. Let's go to Croatia. 2009, crisis, no job, no nothing. What the hell are you talking about? So I came to Croatia, and after 1 year, we didn't find any job, of course. So I told Anna, hey, what do we do? Well, let's make our own activity. And that's what the time when you take a conscious decision of what you want to do in life, things start to happen. And that's the time when we started to together with an amazing team, co-founders that we found here, 4 other people, all of them women, together with my back in that time girlfriend, we started the Impact Hub Zagreb. And that was almost 4 years ago. And this is a picture from around 1 month, 2 months ago, from Forbes magazine. So they came to us and they recognized that what we are doing, still we are a very young organization, Impact Hub Zagreb, but they saw like, okay, you are doing nice things. And they took a pictures. I hate the picture because I'm like, but anyway, you cannot change these photographers. So, and the conflict here is that, you know, we started doing something very different. We started a collaborative space. What? Yeah, it is a collaborative space. It's a co-working space, but we go beyond the co-working space. We gave people a safe space, a safe platform for them to realize their ideas. It is a place, it is a community of doers, and it's a place where you are actually really doing stuff. And that's nothing like normal here. So the conflict is, you know, challenging the status quo of doing things different. So what I learned, and those are the things that I learned through conflict. For example, again, this is me. Goals are very important. Even though you are being challenged to do whatever unknown thing, I think it's very important to have the long-term goal of where do you want to be. Because if that is clear, you will do it in spite of whatever. So you have to have that clear. This is a picture when I was in the Scouts, and I went camping. I was gonna get my last badge, you know, to become kind of the super scout, whatever. But and they gave me this piece of map. Okay, you have to go from this point to this point. You have only a compass, and you will be alone. I said, 14 years old, no problem. When the night came, there were coyotes. You know what coyotes are? There were coyotes in the distance. What? So, okay, and I was only carrying this hammock, and I was traveling with my guide, a cousin of 2-3 years older than me. But anyway, so you also understand that in order to go through conflict, and you know, apart from having your objectives very clear, you have to dare. And all these examples that I gave you have to do about, you know, daring is important. You have to take risks. You have to go to the unknown. And probably you have heard about this. Life actually starts out of your comfort zone. And that's super true. And it happens to me every day. So you have to dare every time. And the last thing, so when I was in 2009 here, I told you I came with my girlfriend. 2010, no job, no nothing. I was semi-depressed. I didn't know the language, this difficult language here. I understand a little bit now. So semi-depressed, no job, no money, and yet we got married. We say, okay, let's get married. And we did it 2010, and that was after we took a conscious decision of doing something different. So worst case scenarios are relative. Just continue, you just follow life, and then you will find, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel. And of course, on the way, you figure out that it's not about you. And this is my daughter. So all these things are to try to tell you that impact, it's also a relative thing. But I wasn't looking for, you know, impactful things. I was just doing stuff that I cared. Still, I do that. And if there is something that I would like to tell you and for you to have in mind is that impact is your footprint. And you don't have to show anybody. You just have to show yourself that you are able to do stuff, that you care, that are possible, and that are daring, and that are important for the society, and then you will be doing impact. I had an accident, and this is my last anecdote. I had an accident when I was 12. I remember very well because I was with my, there was the birthday of my grandmother. So all of our cousins were in a big tree besides my grandmother's house, and we were all playing in this big tree, 10 meters or so that tall. And then I was playing in one of the branches, and I was 4 meters above ground, and I got one of the branches, and then it broke, and I fell. I was falling like that. For some reason, I just extended, I was falling, and for a miracle, I didn't hit my head, but I just extended my arms, and I fall like this. So when 4 meters, then I stood up, and I was like, what just happened? And I was in shock. I wasn't feeling pain until I saw my arms. My arms were like this. I said, whoa, then I start crying, hit na pomoć. You go immediately to the hospital, and I just ate. So anesthesia, no. So the doctor had to pull, boom, and the crack was, of course I was 14, so it was super traumatic to me. My mother was outside in the hospital, and she was listening to my screams when the doctors just pulled like that and put them back, and then I got this cast on me, and I was like that, so I couldn't do anything. So there are two things that I learned from here. Yes, that's me. Yeah? So I couldn't even, going to the toilet was quite challenging. So I learned two things. The first thing is that happens, and I was very close to that time. 14 years old, I was after that 1 week with nightmares and 1 month with this cast. So that was the first thing. Like you have a close contact to what can happen and something that is going to happen anyway in all of our lives. And the second thing that I learned is that life is super short. Life is a spark, so you don't know if tomorrow you're going to fall from a tree. I fortunately survived. So I will finish with this last quote. I love it because this is coming from, and they are my heroes, one of my heroes. They are younger than me. They are 23 years old. Who knows about Pussy Riot? Okay, these guys are a collective from Russia. They are challenging the Putin regime, and they thought about conflict. They are talking every time about conflict. So every interesting thing starts with conflict. You know yourself through conflict, either public conflict or internal conflict, and that pushes you to understand something. Everybody will understand through conflict, like the things that happened to me. And pushes you to understand something. If you just have a comfortable life, you just start to degrade. Thank you very much.